Let's talk about how, once again, India has proven its capability in terms of being a net security provider in the Indian Ocean region with the latest rescue of sailors and a ship which the pirates were planning to convert into a mother piracy ship. How the Indian sailors, the Indian Navy really compelled these pirates. The Marcos commandos really went out on the ship and compelled these pirates to surrender and surrender the ship to them as well. We're joined by our guest, Alok Bansal, Director, India Foundation and security expert as well. Good evening to you, Dr. Bansal. What do you make of what's happened in terms of how India is once again proving its reputation and, of course, its calling as well of being a net security provider in the Indian Ocean with this latest incident?
See, India has been the largest littoral navy in the Indian Ocean region. And what is important is that the countries of the region consider India as a benign power. And that's been proved time and again. India has come to provide succor to different countries of the region from time to time. There was a time when Mozambique needed an offshore security for an OAU summit, and Indian Navy provided it. When our neighbors wanted their citizens to be evacuated from trouble-torn countries, Indian Navy did it. In fact, so much so that even the United States, when it wanted its citizens to be evacuated from Yemen, approached the Indian Navy. And now, with this daredevil act, where they have not only captured all the pirates, but ensured that none of the crew members were harmed in any way. It's been a superb attempt which Indian Navy has done, and it has established its credentials as a supremely capable force, capable of providing security not only to Indian citizens and Indian interests, but also to the global community as a whole. With this attempt, India emerges as a prima donna as far as policing of the Indian Ocean region is concerned.
How do you think Indian Navy has been able to do it? Because it's a vast region and really very different theatres to manage in terms of how in some areas the pirates hold sway, and then there's the danger for Houthis as well.
See, Indian Navy has been operating in these regions for a certain period of time. In addition, I think there has been an augmentation of force level in recent past. We have wherewithal, like in this particular operation itself, you would have seen there were warships. There was a maritime reconnaissance aircraft which was actually flying in the air, providing all sorts of reconnaissance and providing information. And then we had an Air Force aircraft which came and dropped marine commandos with boats into the sea. Now, that is what is unimaginable, actually. That's what was a very, very phenomenal attempt by which Marcos actually went up to the ship, captured the pirates, and ensured the release of all crew members. So this has been a phenomenal success. I think it is both expertise in terms of training, because Indian Navy has a long tradition of working hard. We have been providing support, be it humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, or such cases where policing duties are required at the high seas. So we have over the years acquired an expertise in this field. And I think this particular incident has shown Indian Navy in very, very good light. And I think international community has sit up and taken notice. And I think our credentials as the net security provider as far as Indian Ocean is concerned has been established. Now we could probably cobble up a coalition to provide policing in entire Indian Ocean region and be the leader as far as this particular region is concerned.
Well, India has been urged to join the efforts being led by the US and UK as well in the past, but so far we haven't. Why do you think we have kept this sort of a thing going, that India can do it on its own?
See, I think US and UK drawn core forces have a particular agenda. They have a particular countries which they want to target, which are actually aimed against certain particular countries. And I think India has always maintained its strategic autonomy. And I think we feel that we are in a position to provide security to all seafarers in the Indian Ocean region and ensure the freedom of navigation. And I think by this incident, which has just taken place, where a merchant ship which had been captured by the pirates for use as mothership, which would have enabled pirates to move far away from the coast and carry out their incidents. Because what has happened is, of late, with the acts of piracy, the Horn of Africa is being patrolled vigorously by various navies. But with the mothership, they should have been in a position to move far away from the coast and carry out these incidents. Now, by getting this ship, recapturing the ship, releasing the crew, and arresting all the pirates, we have prevented a number of piracies that could have taken place if this action would not have taken place.
And do you think that the Indian Navy, if it comes to it, can also prove to be a fairly potent sort of a force when it comes to the challenge of the Houthis as well?
Well, there is no doubt that we have the capability of taking on those attacks.
Why I ask is because the Houthis are a different kettle of fish compared to pirates.
No, there is no doubt because Houthis are firing from land. Now,
Yes.
there you have to actually prevent an attack or whatever is taking place. Targeting a missile which is coming from the shore is feasible for Indian Navy to do so. But I think the ships would have to exercise some amount of caution because they'll have to probably move away because Indian Navy cannot provide continuous defense to each and every ship unless, of course, they follow a particular path and inform our Indian Navy that which all ships are coming. And there'll be certain limitations, I think. So if this sort of a responsibility is to be shouldered, then we may probably have to create a coalition of like-minded countries, which are, and as I said right in the beginning, that as far as India and Indian Navy is concerned, it is seen as a benign power, and most countries of the region are willing to collaborate with us. So if we decide to create a coalition for providing security to shipping, we may have a better chance of success than many other countries. And we can obviously deal with these missiles and guns which are being fired from the coast. Of course, you can never ensure foolproof 100% security to a merchant ship which is transiting close to the coast.
Which could these like-minded countries be? I mean, they can't be in the Western camp because they have, as you said, a different objective. India has, if India has to expand this, India would have to choose carefully.
See, all the littoral countries, if you actually look at it, South Africa, Kenya, all the littoral countries, they may not have great maritime resources. Indonesia, they would definitely would like to collaborate. Maybe some of the countries which are part of the Western camp could also join, like Singapore, Thailand, etc., could possibly join us. But all the countries which are in the Indian Ocean region, our neighbors, countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, could also chip in with us. And then, of course, we have very good relations with island nations like Seychelles and Mauritius, countries like Madagascar, etc. We could create a grid whereby all these countries which do not have the resources and send ships out in the sea can probably patrol in their vicinity and remain in communication touch with Indian Navy and its maritime reconnaissance aircraft which are operating across the ocean and can possibly identify this sort of rogue ships or pirate ships which are indulging in this sort of activities.
Well, that'll be something. I'm sure that is something that at an informal level exchange of information does happen, and that comes into good stead as well. But if there's a formal move towards something, then perhaps that would also prove to be more effective than what is going on at the moment, because these pirates, well, they're basically desperate people coming in from regions that are right now facing a lot of economic and other forms of distress through civil war and whatnot. They are a difficult force to contain, and more the merrier in terms of getting them to desist from what they've been doing, putting global trade at risk. About $200 billion of trade that goes through for India itself is at risk because of what's been happening. Thank you so much for joining us, Alok. Bansal.
Thank you.